we're gonna need to kind of think about how to address them. But let's see. Okay, let's go. We were talking about this. So we're just talking about the halo effect. This is pretty interesting. So what? Okay, let me zoom out for a moment here. This is just a preamble before the meeting begins. We found this resource. We're paying $40 a month now to get O'Reilly. So what is O'Reilly? O'Reilly is basically a gigantic resource for management, hiring, all kinds of great stuff. These are books that people have written. This is what actually defines Silicon Valley culture. So if you go to like most manager office is in Silicon Valley, you'll see a few of these O'Reilly books. So O'Reilly is essentially working on all kinds of ways to spread knowledge. Some of them are related to technology, like MATLAB for digital data visualization, or machine learning, or what DevOps, all these different subjects. They are primarily a very authoritative resource. They write books, they give lectures, they create classes for people to learn professional skills. It's a really, really good base of skill sets to learn. If we want to build culture, this is a good place to begin. So I've shared this in the Leadership Guild last week, and this is essentially a very, very good, how would I say, this is a very good resource to actually understand how to solve delegate problems, right? So oftentimes we're thinking about let me just zoom up a little bit. I think the purpose of HR, I'm just making a hypothesis, I think the purpose of HR is to help leaders delegate. So basically, if you understand what delegation means and how to do it effectively, you can hire the right people, because effectively, instead of thinking we're hiring employees, we're hiring delegates. We're trying to like take some work that we already have and find the right person to delegate it to. Now, in most situations, delegates are sort of like the people around you already, but after reading some of this, there's been some good insights from that. So Vita and I were just laughing about this, which is kind of interesting. This is a these are biases, right? And we were talking about, excuse me, where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There's just so much stuff. Let's see, where was it? Determine which staffs to delegate. Oh, evaluate performance, right? So we often do promotion reviews, like we're going to do for D1 soon. So when you evaluate performance, what are you evaluating on? You have to be clear how that's done. Focus on results. Was the task complete? Was it completed on time? But also you have to take a look at this, right? So when you come into your evaluation, you have to be aware of biases. So this is actually pretty interesting. This is a bias called the halo effect. So the halo effect is a bias that a lot of people have, and we have to be knowledgeable that when we are using this. So let's say, for example, R is a rock star, right? She's doing really well in HR, and she's hiring all the right people, and it's just amazing. She's doing an amazing job. So then we believe then, let's say if R goes and works on content, she's going to be a rock star too, because she's just has this halo around her. She's like a goddess, right? So she must be good at everything. Well, this is actually oftentimes false, because when you transplant a person to a different arena, they might not have the same competencies or the same skill sets, right? But the opposite could be true too. Let's say Jing is just a loser and can't ever get to work on time, and he's just always late, right? And we're like, what's going on? Jing can't actually even do the basic duties. But then it might contaminate the other way. Let's say Jing is good at Tableau visualizations. Then that part can get ignored sometimes because we've already assumed this person's sort of like a loser, and whatever they do is loser-like. So this is also valuable in terms of how we recruit and what we're looking for and how we evaluate. Hey, Gunny, how's it going? So that's halo effect. The other one is the isolated incident bias. This is pretty funny. This happens a lot in Balinese villages. If you did something dumb when you were a kid, you can never get rid of it. You'll just be known as, you're that guy who accidentally burnt down their family's house when you were 5, right? Because you were playing with candles. And so this is a person's failure and poor performance in one instance shape your entire perception of that person. So let's say a person misses a deadline, so you just think this person's not reliable. and that can create a isolated incident bias. So the work in one situation affects the totality of the work. So yeah, those are two biases that we saw, and we wanted to bring that up. Okay, what do you guys think about that? To Ara first.
Halo effect is easily detected, and I see it often in everywhere though.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just about skill set, sir, but also that I noticed it's not supposed to be treated that way. Because at some point, some other people would see it like, okay, person is a favorite, so whatever he say, whatever she say, is gonna be like accepted
Teacher's
to
pet.
whoever. Yeah. So I think the measurement that we used to see from OKR and everything is supposed to see from each individual too. So like not making in any kind of cases. Yeah. So halo effect is really often I see it everywhere.
Okay, great. Who has a halo effect?
For now in VP,
Yeah.
I think who sees who as a halo effect has always been different.
Okay.
Like maybe each person, like maybe maybe Vita see me as a halo effect. Maybe I see Gugu as a halo effect. So
Okay.
at some point there's really no valid measurement on which one is the halo effect. We can only see it by the major voice. So
Okay.
sometimes it needs to take both. Like for example, in this HR team, and then like I said that okay, Bubu is halo effect, and then Vita said no, I think you're the halo effect.
Ah.
And then
Okay.
think that no, Bubu is halo effect. So halo effect itself is pretty biased.
Of course.
Just like it depends on who says that exactly.
Okay.
And I think the valid one is supposed to be the one that has major vote on yes, you are the halo effect.
Okay, got it. Interesting. All right, so we do have things to take into, let's say, consideration of how to reduce the impact of halo effect, right? We have personal OKRs, which allow, let's say, a person to declare and also show what they've been able to do. So let's say, yeah, that reduces halo effect of like you were good last month, and so you're good this month, and you're gonna be good forever. And if you were bad last month, then you're bad forever. Okay, great. So we kind of have an antidote to halo effect. What about isolated incident bias? Let's go to Boo Boo. Have you ever seen a case, or have you? What is your understanding of the isolated incident bias?
Isolated instance.
Oh,
Incident bias.
can we open it, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, I think this
Isolated incident is bias. Is this like it's not yeah. Totally yeah. What susah.
Bahasa Indonesia aja. All translated.
Enggak, ini apa? Ini tuh kayak ini
Let's go over to Ara again. Ara, what do you think isolated incident bias means?
Okay, it's also common things that I see in wherever, but also 100% is, I mean, like, it's really hard to measure. Because, like, for example, if somebody is failing, it doesn't mean that, I think in this case, we should treat a person like having some, what is it, yeah, like, not a warning, but like more, how many times this person could make the exact same failure.
Exactly.
If he made it like 3 times in a row, the same exact mistake, or the same context problem, then it's not a bias. That
Right.
this person is just a poor performance and such.
There you go. Okay, great. Okay, so this brings us to a few things. We can see on both cases, right? On the halo effect and on the isolated incident bias. What seems to be the most powerful tool we in HR can use to make sure we're not making biased decisions?
Really, I think we can relate that to like the people working with them as well.
Okay, more evidence. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
the majority voice as well.
Okay. All right. There's another thing I'm looking for. It's essentially a simple habit, and this habit allows you to remove a lot of biases. It allows that thing that Ara just spoke of to track different incidents. It allows, let's say, a way of understanding if we have a halo effect and that's not contributing. What is that simple process? What's that simple behavior that we can do?
Like what I did, for example, the one-on-one stuff. So like I like to detect like maybe there's one person that have problem with another one, and I need to see is the rest of the team also have problems with this person or not.
Okay.
Yeah, if everyone is saying the same thing, so then okay, so it's not a personal problem, it's actually the squad problem. Just like everybody says the same thing, everybody shares the same problems and values. So this person must have been taking an action with like for example in squad two there's one guy and then like it will turn out that everybody give a low score to this person, and then like based on the talks also that everybody give a bad feedback.
Okay.
So then we can detect that what we as an HR are supposed to do to the squad, like talking to him directly, whatever. So, yeah, maybe before we're more on like execute directly that okay, you guys have problems, let's discuss it. But I think it will be wise if we hear from the rest of the team.
Okay, got it. Be able to get that 360 multiple viewpoint. Okay, so we're trying to eliminate these biases by looking at the situation from multiple points of, in the same time, look at it from multiple angles. What's another thing that we have to keep track of in order to, hey Dominic, welcome in. What's another sort of dimension, not just like multiple angles, but what's the other dimension we should keep track of in order to see how to eliminate this bias?
In the squad level or
at an individual level, what's a good practice we can have in order to also be very authoritative when we eliminate biases from our decision making?
I think I like the idea the other day that you said that we need to see some people's OKR, keep in track with their alignment with the vision and mission of the company, the goals of that month. I think that also reduce the bias. Like we can see that what are the goals of this person individually this month, and if it's aligned, then it's good. And if it's not, we can see again, like observe again, like what makes it not aligned and why it's not working rightly. So
very good.
Yeah, and then by actually looking one by one, so OKR, we can even know that one, maybe this person is not focused. Two, this person just don't know how to make an OKR. Three, so like we can do like deeper observation for that.
Okay, fantastic. All right, very good, very good. The RS point is right, Vita's point is right. The end point is documentation. If you document everything, if you write down everything, then you'll know whether or not this is an isolated incident or if this is multiple times that this has been happening, right? If you write down everything, you can document whether or not it's consistent over time. The management of time and the ability to look back into time, I think, is a very strong way to actually determine consistency in people's performance. It's like data. It's like a timeline. You can see what happened. Oh, on this month you were particularly successful, and then after that it started going this way. So you're able to understand, oh, okay, there is no halo effect. It is actually true. You did reach your targets before, and now you're not reaching your targets. And it's not, I don't carry this halo effect because I remember you were doing really good then, but that time has changed. Isolated incident is also time. So you did bad then, but now you're doing better, now you're doing better, now you're doing better. The three last incidents are better. Think about like a review. A review on an Airbnb listing is pretty fair. So if there was, let's say, halo effect, it would be your first 100 reviews were great, and then you're great forever. But that's not necessarily true. What if you were great and now you suck? Now you don't have a manager, you don't have a cleaner, and the place is disintegrating. Brand can be like that. A lot of brands are great 100 years ago, and now maybe they're irrelevant. Kodak, Blockbuster, these are all brands that at some point were huge and nobody even knows. Sony, yeah. At some point they were really powerful, but now they've lost their halo, and it's mostly because the review system. The review system ensures that only the latest reviews are the most freshest information. So we have to constantly take a look at that. So documentation is really valuable.
I think we already have the idea of documentation because remember when we were talking about novel, right? And then I suggested to document like how many.
All right, yeah, this is pretty consistent. This has happened every day for the past 30 days. Then we know it's not an isolated incident. It's not just, oh, we checked on you that day, you were late, so you're always late. Okay, great. Let me turn the.
I have a question actually regarding this.
Okay.
Do you remember when we had a talk there in front of the base?
Okay.
Where you jump on Ivan, you're late today, and then Ivan said, I also late.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
Do you think is that also like a halo effect? Or?
Oh, well, in what way? What way do you think there's a halo effect? Oh, that have a halo effect for Diba. Oh, okay, great question. So, Vita's asking me this, right? Vita's asking me, Ivan was late to get to the base, and then Diba was also late to get to the base. So they both arrived. When Ivan showed up the other day, I said, "Hey, Ivan, you're late." And then Diba cruised by and said, "So was I. I was late today too." And so, why am I jumping on Ivan and not on Diba?
Usually because he was like in his probation.
Well, I'm consistent actually. I'm consistent with the idea of autonomy and alignment. So if you have alignment, then you have more autonomy. But if you have no alignment, then we cannot give you that autonomy. In fact, that autonomy is toxic if you have no alignment. And we've seen that a few times. We've seen essentially if we give autonomy to people with no alignment, they just get less and less aligned, and after a while they start cruising off in a different direction. So in my case, with let's say Diba can manage her time very well. I mean, Diba just gets shit done. Okay. Thank you for expressing that. Yeah. So Diba can just get shit. Okay, good. Diba is always on time. She always delivers on time. Her team delivers on time, and she often has to work way into the night, as you guys saw to ensure that. And she's very, very thorough. She's very thorough. She documents everything, like everything twice. And so, in that particular case, I know that this person can manage their time. So I don't need to intervene and I don't need to say anything. Ivan, on the other hand, was in a very, very different context. His major problem was not anything else, right? It wasn't his skill. It wasn't his hospitality. It was really his time management. And we all agreed, Ivan, you have very, very poor time management. And so in his particular case, we're trying to coach him away from the mistakes he's making with time management. If you can't manage your own time, then okay, please at least show up to work. That's one great, easy thing that you can do to manage your time. So in his case, when he shows up late, it is much, much different than, let's say, Diva's case, when she shows up at whatever time she gets done. Yes, okay, to Ara.
Okay, so actually, candidate keep on comparing himself as somebody that's in probation with a senior.
That's
So, like, for example, in that case, so, like, yeah.
I mean, then you need to drill down and understand why, right? What aspect of, let's say, whatever you're doing makes you believe that you have the same, whatever, like that's okay. That's stepping on toes, right? I don't necessarily mind that. Sometimes maybe the senior's wrong. Maybe the senior's behaving in a way that creates bad behavior to develop. Maybe it's like the candidate hasn't seen the context, and that's very, very normal. Like that particular context between Ivan and Diba's case, right? I know the context of it, but a lot of people might not see that context. They might think, oh, why are you being mean to Ivan? Well, Ivan has a problem right now with time management, so we're trying to help him with this problem. We're trying to put him on we're trying to get him promoted. And on his performance improvement plan, we agreed with Ivan that he needs to schedule his time and he needs to understand what he's doing at each hour. And it would be much easier, and he agreed if he showed up on time. So that's his plan. In Diva's case, it is quite different. And so ultimately, we want Ivan to be more like Diva, right? We want Ivan to be able to have control of his time. But if you can't even show up for important meetings, how can I be sure that you have good time management? So I think it's a contextual basis, Ara. And I think if a person who's a candidate wants to know, then we have to be able to also, that's good. If they want to know, they're stepping on toes and they deserve an answer. I think it's okay, right? What is it that you think why do you think that they can do that? What do you think is the difference between your situation and their situation? I think it's a little bit, okay, go ahead.
For example, from my discussion yesterday, it's not, the contextual doesn't really make sense because like the comparison, even if it's not a senior, but then at some point, it just doesn't make sense, sir. But my point was like, what if somebody's like comparing this, like some people are asking me like, okay, so that's gonna be rules, but then what about Bayu and Buga, because they're always late to the base and whatever. So I was like,
oh, okay,
well,
good question. Yeah. All right, look, everyone can be as late as they want to the base as long as the work gets done. right? So it's really, how would I say, if your work can get done according to your own schedule, then you can come whenever you want. But if your work can't get done according to that schedule and you have constant issues and I think a person who's, let's say, in probation should be maximizing their time and their exposure being here. They should be learning as much as possible, like the way Gani, Rizal, Shintia did, right? You should be putting in the hours to learn how it is that this works. And if your performance, let's say, is not quite there, and your effort isn't quite there either, then you have a problem, right? You shouldn't be asking these questions because you're viewing the work as something different. You're not viewing it as a learning opportunity. You're viewing it as something else. Bayu has put in the hours. I mean, he's here until 8, 9 every day. He shows up a little bit late, but then he's come down on crunch time and gotten shit delivered before when he promised it. Bigger was supposed to come out sometime in October. He delivered it in September. So I think in these particular cases, I could have a halo effect around Bayu though. Yeah, maybe it's just like, but Bayu's also tracked on OKRs and he's fairly logical and disciplined about that part. So I think we have to ask ourselves, all right, what kind of culture do we really want? We want an autonomous, aligned culture. Great. So can this person operate autonomously? Will operating autonomously get them to their goal? And if they can demonstrate that on day one, then great. You just can come in whenever you want and do whatever you think is right. But if you can't, if you're behind on your learning, if you're behind on your deadlines, if you're behind on your OKRs, if your teammates think that you're not supporting them and you're not available, and yeah, such and such. That's how I would evaluate. It is good. It is good that people are asking these questions because these are important questions. When we have, let's say, more senior people, let's say Pat Nunki, right? And he's doing something that we think is off culture, then somebody needs to undress the situation. And if the situation is wrong, that it is not compatible, the seniors are late and they're not delivering and they're a mess and they're not leading their teams, then we need to address the senior at that level. Say, hey, look, your behavior is actually creating a bad influence across the board. But if it's like, all right, we understand the context, right? We understand that certain roles probably should have some kind of attendance. Oh, okay. I've gone into almost half an hour of this, so I'm going to try to wrap it up. If you want to ask me these, I'll have a private chat with you, yeah? All right? We'll have some discussion around this. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Speaking of OKRs, all right, Boo Boo, your chair. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Let's start the HR Guild. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Boo Boo.
Okay. We can start from our business from my OKR first.
Fantastic.
Mr. Secretary, please open it. Yes.
Wait, I'm actually the secretary.
Yeah, you are. Oh, but okay, I'm the cursor.
Okay, this is my OKR for the first one, BV event, birthdays and anniversary. I wanna thanks to Vita for making a card and wishing the Ivan for Ivan.
Oh,
Thank you, Vita.
good.
Yes, Sarah, I trust you.
I think next time we should let Bubu just do it. What do you guys think? And I think we missed Rizky's first anniversary. 1 year anniversary, I think.
Oh, we should do that. Yeah. Okay. When is this?
I think we missed D1's though. D1's
1 year anniversary.
year anniversary.
How many
Okay.
did we miss?
Who?
2. Boo Boo.
Or Gabriel.
No, Rizky will be in the 15th.
And then D1.
D1 was on August 24th.
Okay.
August.
Okay.
Okay.
I was in
I
September.
already put that on my calendar. So
And R was in September.
Yeah, I was in the 1st September. That's okay.
And nobody remembered. Hey, we should have a late versary.
yeah,
Late
the
birth-
4th of September.
Yeah,
Happy anniversary! But this is failing fast, right? This is why we're having Boo Boo work on these. Okay.
Okay. Can we move on? Questions or?
Thank you, Boo Boo. I think we have some frictions getting people to fill out the employee satisfaction survey, right? Because currently, I saw on the all hands we only had 4 responses right now. So since a lot of your OKRs are tied to this and bonuses are tied to this, is this in itself worthy of asking why people are not filling out the employee satisfaction survey?
Self-worthy, what do you mean by self-worthy?
Okay, look, employee satisfaction survey is a crucial part of HR's measurement tool, right? So we're trying to do things that improve employee satisfaction. But if people don't take the satisfaction survey, if they just, whatever, they forget about doing it, or maybe we're administering it the wrong way, maybe it needs to be administered like in a more personal way, then all our OKRs are kind of ridiculous, right? Because we can't really measure anything. So maybe one of the things we really need to think about is how do we get a better distribution and how do we get higher participation on the employee satisfaction survey? Okay, I just want to raise that. I don't want to slow down the meeting, but perhaps that can be somebody's OKR maybe. Huh? Okay. Anyways, back to you, Boo Boo.
Okay. Okay. The next my OKR is hotel reservation. Cover 100% hotel reservation in Jogja. I already do it for 1 week, sir.
Okay.
And the next one is hiring. Get 1 new OGS. Okay. That I already put a link that a paper that I've attached in my OKR. Yes, sir.
Boo Boo, we have interview analysis tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
We can give you that feedback live, yeah?
LinkedIn increase 50% follower.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yes, we already have an idea that will be posted in 11th October, sir.
Okay, fantastic. Mr. Chair, do you need photographs and visual content to complete this? Okay, who's going to take the photo?
Basically, I'm going to look at if it's already created content like a workshop, it's already done. So I'm just gonna take from our drive.
Mm-hmm.
But if it needs to make a new content, then I can ask Gani or Novel here.
Okay, great, fantastic. All right, sounds good.
Okay, for my OKR, sir. Yes, Mr. Jin.
I'd like to ask Ara. Ara, how many interviews does Boo Boo do every day?
For an interview?
Yeah.
1.
1 or 2.
Okay, Boo Boo, if you're really serious about this, it has to be realistic, right? So how are you going to get 2 interviews a day?
Today?
I mean, how are you going to, bagaimana Anda bisa mendapat 2 interview per hari?
Okay, basically, I tell Ara for how much her interview today, so I will take at least 1 sir for the interview if it's less than 4, and if more than 4, I will take 2.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so it's basically helping with RS capacity, yeah? Okay,
Yes.
great. All right, back to you, Chair.
And then next to the CEO PR.
Okay, let's go over to Vita and Ara first, yeah? I've already announced my OKRs at the all.
Okay. So I'm still actually not haven't found my key result yet for some OKRs. But I already do like some actions. I already do the actions for some objectives. Like for example, for the first objective, like finding better, having better candidate expectation by recreating the job post. Job post that I've recreated this host. I set up with Rafik already. and we recreated the job post, but I haven't changed that into any of our posts. But my first plan is, so yesterday I requested to join any group, like Bali job and everything in Facebook. So I get accepted in one group last night. So I'm gonna post this iteration on that Facebook first before I finish the rest and change into the job street and LinkedIn, for example, and also in our website. So the second one, the HR handover to each chapter. So the workflow of the handover, I haven't made that, but I already have in mind also including the onboarding, like the Gmail account who create that, the thing that Mas Bayu requested yesterday. So remember, sir, in all hands.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's gonna be being put there, like how are we going to take care of this person until like the first 3 months of their probation and everything. So because right now we also don't have like a clear work for Kuldeep, for example, right? So it's Ara's project champion, but I'm also taking care of Kuldeep because he's here. So how we should actually taking care of this situation in the future and something like that. The standardized on-site trials is also been doing at the same time when I'm sitting with the chapter leads for job post recreation. So I think the key I'll put that the key results, so there will be like no more confusion in during the day of the on-site trials, because basically I'm trying to design the on-site trials for, so the first day is gonna be like orientation, or like orientation on what they should do during the on-site trials. So the second till the 6th day or the 5th day, they're gonna schedule themselves with the people. So they're going to approach the people, asking about their availability time. So at the same time, we don't need, like as HR, we don't have to really like go to the people and then ask them, are you going to be available at this time? Meanwhile, we can just leave it to the candidate. At the same time, we're assessing their time management and self-management and project management at the same time. So that's gonna be like that.
Okay.
And then the last one, the same as previously, but having 2 hosts, 1 online guest support and 2 MD.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you very much. I would actually like to offer just some context. Maybe on standardized on-site trials, is that the objective, or is that the project to fix the objective? Because you said that essentially the objective was to reduce that confusion, right? So the objective. So we got to. What is the sickness? What is the illness, and what is the cure? This sounds like it's the cure, but it's not necessarily the. Okay, go ahead. Oh.
So there are actually 2 objectives on the why the standardized on-site trials. First, like the confusion of time, because we for example, it belongs to me, the feedbacks from Nadine and also Joshua, because their schedule is not. The schedule that is written on the paper is not necessarily the same with what is happening on the on-site trials.
Okay.
Because the thing is, because I create that like from the template that we have, and some of the people is not there anymore, like Mas Chris and like the things. I try to talk to Alvin and Dandy as well for Josh, for example, but still there are some activities that was missed. So it was the feedback. So that's why like I come with this for the confusion first, and then the second one is for like all this time when we assess people on-site trials is just based on our subjectivity. Like for example, me to Kuldeep, right? Oh yes, he is like this, and then like Diba is like this. So on the standardized on-site trials, it should be like, what do we want to assess from the people during the on-site trials? Let's say time management. How do we assess the time management? Oh, okay, we should set let the candidate to set a Google Calendar and then set the meeting with other people, and then learn this one during the 5 days of trial, something like that. So there's like objective, and it's different between each chapters.
Okay.
So
Got it.
yeah, that's why like also I need to sit with the chapter leads for this one. So
Okay.
what do they want to see?
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, great. So that's the objective. The objective is to essentially make it more focused, have the test become more intentional, and test for exactly the skill sets. The standardized is the product of that. That would actually be the result. In this particular case, I would urge, because think of a hybrid system, right? You want some structure and you want some variance, because when we try to create a rigid schedule, it's really hard because nobody here follows a rigid schedule. Unfortunately, we're not a synchronized company. Unfortunately, 9 o'clock. Some people are there. Some people are there. Some people are somewhere else. So I think our tests have to also account for that type of autonomy and get that goal orientation right. Okay. Would you, Vita, be able to go back and write just what you said and condense it into
Yes.
like a phrase and then put it in, and then essentially your key result is the standardized on-site trial. That does whatever. And once again, it's important to measure, right? How do you know that this new trial is doing better than the previous system? Maybe it's by the reduction of complaints. Maybe it's by the I don't know, some score that candidates give at the end, like this is a 5-star evaluation. Think of what metric you're going to use so that you know that you've actually moved forward. Okay, back to the chair.
Okay, Ara.
Okay, so in this particular on-site trial standardizing, is it like only for MB or for every chapter?
For every chapter, but the MB one I already created that with Manli, so that's just
Okay, so the result of by the end of the month is that you're going to come up with standardized trials program for every chapter A.
yes.
Wow, that's a big goal. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All
I
right.
recognize.
Thank you, Mr. It's very easy to go back to the beginning again and get lost. So if you are making improvements, I would suggest that you follow essentially a roadmap template. So just really quickly, I'd like to illustrate this. So on a roadmap, essentially we talk about, okay, what is it that we're doing? Like, what does the trial program look like? This map, I think you could also ask, let's say, the teams for feedback, right? What was it that's good, and what is it that you want to change? And maybe look at some of the candidate feedback that's on these trials as well. Okay, that's pretty much that's how we keep track of our innovations. Okay,
Yeah.
back to the chair.
Okay, let's move on to the next OKR from Ara. Okay, Ara, it's your point.
Okay, so since like I reduced my working time, so I have some OKR to do this month. The first one is still a follow-up from first one is from LinkedIn. It's already discussed with Google OKR. It's pretty much the same. I need Google approval and encouragement on actually doing this. So yeah, so that maybe he will get used to do it in the future. And the next one is basically from last month. So when I talked to you, sir, about the one, I don't know how Pita's doing with the squad one. The system I don't quite know, but mine is basically so the survey before is considered and referring to core values. So the metrics that I use is the core values itself to see everybody's performance. So instead of just asking hey Jing, how is Pita doing? Hey Vita, how is Jing doing? So I'm like using the core values, all of them, to actually take a mark or take a look at somebody's performance. And I already get the statistical result, but it's going to be like fully finished after I got one-on-one with everyone.
Oh.
And then
Okay.
the win. So yeah, I've already actually discussed with the team about how people here like the Halloween. And then, because like I don't want to sound like bossy, it's like having, what is it, like just, okay, so the party is gonna be here, everybody have to come and all that. So I need everybody's involvement to actually help me. So like, yeah, I for example, the accommodation, I asked like, Google, can you come up with some ideas? And then also, can you come up with some game, one involvement for everyone, so that everyone will be comfortable with the party itself.
Yay! All right.
Okay, also the next one, the next one is still hiring. So pipeline, I have there because of there's something I'm not quite sure what. Galo said that I need to pending that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So about the hiring itself, So is it still like since the resignation of Maha, is MB still the urgent hires for now, or we change it to host, right?
MB's still the urgent one because hosting activity is dropping off anyway. So there's not in the next. Let's say you hire a host right now. They're probably going to come in November, right in the middle of the lowest season. So at present, I think we have enough. Josh is coming in, so most likely we will ask Josh to fill in on Squad 1. So Squad 1 will have Gabby, Dominic, Alvin, Josh. I don't think we'll ever stop hiring hosts. So if there's, because hosts are essentially a stem cell, right? They're essentially a stem cell. They become hopefully community managers, they become like revenue managers, they become in the input pipeline. And yeah, okay, great.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it from my OKR. If there's, if you guys have some feedback from my OKR, that would be welcome.
Yes, Mr. Jing.
Okay. Are we surveying? Do you think our company has surveyed multiple times this month by all the HR? Right. So another survey and another survey and another survey. Maybe we should have a survey budget, right? We cannot over survey the entire company because then they won't fill out the employee survey. And they'll just be like, I've already told you guys this 3 times. All right, over to.
Yeah, maybe, but my particular survey is about the squad itself.
Ah, right.
So-
Okay. Can we take a look at these results? Are actually because currently I can't see them. Right? I don't know if they're. Yeah. So if you have these results, please share it here. This is the correct forum to have these discussions. So the survey results you have from your one-on-ones and your discussions about the core values, just share it here because right now I just hear about them, but I don't see them. Right? So it would be good to to Ara.
Okay, sir. So the problem is, it's the very beginning. Is I want the openness of everyone,
Oh,
and
so the
I
pri-
told to them it's not gonna be delivered to everyone.
I
so
see.
please be as open as possible with me. But
Okay.
if you want to actually post the result, I will talk to you in private, sir.
Okay, all right. So these are going to be private one-on-ones then on that. Okay, great, fantastic. That's good. All right. So let's see. All right, on this. Oh wait, let me get recognition from the chair.
Yes, Mr. Jing.
Okay. In this particular case, all we need is just so much of the results are hinged on ESS, and so if ESS isn't getting filled out, it's really hard for us to even work out what the bonus should be, as I told you, right, on your employer journal. So I think we need to actually fix that. That ESS is infrastructure. It is basically the only way that we know if what we're doing is actually working. Otherwise, we're just creating activity without necessarily the right result. So I think part of this is getting to understand ESS and understand why are people not doing it? Is they're busy or they feel like this is just too many, and getting maximum ESS participation, I think, is a good OKR too as well. All right, I really like the idea of involving the group in the activity. I think we can actually take a pivot on that too as well. It becomes a big job if one person organizes, but it becomes a crowdsource to help in on organizing the event. So just put down the person, put down what you want them to do, and put down what sort of like is what they're going to take care of. It's a pretty good template, and it helps get even.
Like this, but not in the tables.
Yeah. So okay, all right. I'll tag you on it, and you can take another look at it. All right. Okay. Back to the chair, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody needs to own that project. Yeah. STP. Yeah. So, do you want to come over?
Let me think first, yeah, because I need to.
I know. Distraction. Okay. Yeah, the STP will probably need to work on it bilaterally. So I've delegated Ara the task of organizing it in terms of all the materials. I think we probably should get to print no later than this week because we need some big prints. I think we still have some of the prints from last year. But yeah, the prints and the setup and the interior design.
Contact request by this week for the things that need to be printed out.
Okay, great, fantastic. All right, yeah. I guess that should be on your OKRs. Yes, that would be nice. So if it's too much, then you need to trade, right? If your OKRs are too stacked, then you need to remove one item and put this one, and that's part of prioritizing. Okay?
Okay. Sure.
All right. Cool. Back to. Okay. We still got 10 minutes. Should we talk
We
about?
already,
Oh, go ahead.
yes. We already, yes, Mr. Sir.
Okay.
See?
I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna put in a dissection of Maha and Ivan because I think both these guys are about. So Maha and Ivan, when people resign from the company or they get fired or whatever, or something unexpected happens in a person somebody's life, right? I was giving a talk yesterday at Asia Exchange, and I want to clarify something too as well. Let's see. Would you consider a resignation a failure on the part of HR going to Vita?
Sorry, sir.
Would you consider a resignation a failure on the part of HR?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's go to Ara. Would you agree? Yeah, understood, Boo Boo. Okay, go for it.
Sorry, what, sir?
Would
What
you
was that?
consider a resignation a failure on the part of HR?
Actually, it depends.
Okay,
it
it
depends
depends.
on the person.
Okay, and okay, on my part, I would say it also depends. And okay, let's go to Ara first. What does it depend on?
Well, I see depends on the performance and how the impact to the person gave. Like if the person is really is doesn't perform in the company, why would us actually hold this person down?
Okay.
After we already like give some feedback, we have did like a lot of coaching, but like this person is not changing. So I think why would that
Okay.
be
Interesting perspective. Okay, let's go to Vita. What do you think?
I mean, so if person is like resigning in the middle of their journey, right? So we should also like analyze what's the reason of the resignation. For example, if this person is not performing well, and then we should like, for example, Ivan, right? So this person himself. So why my answer is actually it is a failure from HR because it's actually affecting our retention rate. And then if it's kind of like, is there anything that we could detect before we hire a person like this? So it's back into HR things, I think.
Okay, back to Ara.
Okay, abusive that way. This could be one right perspective, but also that we need to understand that people change. So in the very first beginning, that we see him very motivated, we see him very potential, but he can change by basically see the environment that we have that doesn't meet his expectation. We can see that he changed because of other things during the workload or whatever. So that's, I think, needs to be one of the metrics that we need to see, that whether is it like HR failure or is it just basically a change of lack of motivation and anything else.
Okay, very good, interesting. Here, let's see if this is helpful, and you guys can tell me whether you like this idea or not. I think it's. I'll start a new document on this one to help. Oh God, this is so slow.